So once this is done, we should play our scene, and as we play our scene, you should see that the NPC is moving around the different obstacles. Okay. Now, the only thing with this, as you will see later, is that the goal is only set at the start of the scene. We'll see that again later. The goal is set at the start of the scene, which means it's never really updated. So again, the issue with that is if I move my first-person controller, the NPC will always go at the exact same location. Okay, so again, the same here view from above. Okay, if I play the scene, if you look at the scene view at the bottom, you should see that the actual NPC is going around the different obstacles. But and again, it ends up right near my player. So again, the issue here is that if I move my player, and you will see that later, the non-player character will end up always at the exact same position. So it will not update its goal or its target even if I move, which is not great for my game, right? Unless you want the NPC to go at a fixed position. So in this example, for instance, I'm going to move. Okay, I'm going to go to the left or back, doesn't really matter. And you should see that even if I move, the NPC is not following me. It's because the actual target was set at the start but never updated. So we need to work on that. And the way we can change it is to change the script so that the target is updated every frame. So what I will do is very simply copy-paste the line that I've initially added to the start function and add it to the update function. So once I do that, you should see that the actual target will be updated every frame, which means that whenever I move my player, the actual destination will be the position of the goal, and the goal is the player. So again, every frame, the target will be updated with the current position of the target. Now this is quite computer intensive because every time there's some calculations to be made, but again, this is a bit more accurate and possibly will improve the gameplay. So once I've done that, I just need to save my script, and once it has been saved, the last thing I need to do is to play it and move around, just to make sure that the non-player character is actually following me as I move around. So again, here you can look at the view from the game view or from the scene view. You see that if I move around, the actual NPC will follow me. Okay, so that's good. That's good. So that's a bit better. So again, it's just a different way to do things. So okay, so at this stage we can work this AI perfectly well. It's following the character very well and very accurately. So what we want right now is just to extend our maze a little bit, make it maybe a little bit more complicated. So this section of the tutorial is very simple. We're going to duplicate shapes, rotate them around, and so duplicate, rotate, and transform them, so that we have a bit more complex maze. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do for the next few minutes. I will just move them around, duplicate them, and just extend a little bit my maze. Again, I will be using the shortcuts Q, W, E, R, T. So again, W to move, E to rotate, R to scale, and T, which is the rectangle tool, to rescale my object from a particular side of the object. So again, I'm using the Y view, okay, so top-down view, just makes it easier to manage your different assets and especially the maze. So again, I'm just using at the different ends of the maze, and again duplicating, moving around and rotating. Okay, so we are almost there. Okay, I'm just trying to add another place. In fact, we'll have just two different areas, and I want to introduce as well just a small door, if you prefer, so that you know that the navigation is pretty accurate. Okay, so here what I'm doing here is I'm creating two walls. It will be quite close to each other, and there will be only a small space between them, which you can, I suppose, assimilate as a door. And the last section of my maze will just be a duplication of whatever was there before. Okay, so again, it will force the NPC to go through this door. Okay, and again, it's just a matter of testing whether our navigation is as accurate as we'd like it to be. So we're almost there. Just the last duplication. It moved, and that's it. Okay, so at this stage we have two doors, one in the top left part of the maze and one in the middle, and again we should be pretty much okay right now. Okay, I'm going to add one or two more walls there just to complicate navigation a little bit, and the rest should be fine. Okay, so at this stage we are almost ready to test. You can see that on the left hand side you have a few cubes there in the scene. I could rename them, but that's not necessary right now. So again, I'm moving my first-person controller and playing the scene. So here we can see our environment. You can see that the non-player character is as well finding his way to us. Okay, and the issue that we have here is that the character went through a wall. What we forgot to do at this stage is to add the new walls to the baking section to make sure the system knows that these new walls should be avoided as well. So again, I'm going to select all the different cubes and make sure that navigation static is actually selected. I'm going to bake again. Okay, so click on bake. Once this is done, then the actual NPC should not be able to go through the wall, because we said, or we mentioned, using navigation static, that those are obstacles. Okay, so again, if I do the exact same, you should see that the NPC is not going through. Okay, so it's not going through the walls. Yeah, you can see that, for instance, here it's going through the wall. It's going exactly, it's going through the door. Okay, so that's working perfectly at this stage. We managed to bake a few more walls, okay, just to tell the system that they should be part of the obstacles and that the NPC should not go through them. So at this stage we have a pretty much, I suppose the system is quite good. The only thing now what we could do, what would be quite fun to do, would be to add a few more characters. So what I'm going to do is quite simple. We'll just duplicate some of the elements there. So again, I should be able to duplicate my non-player character, okay, and add several other non-player characters. So again, if you press Apple D, okay, or Control D, you should be able to duplicate them. And again, because they are based on the first NPC, they should have the same target, which is the player. So every frame their target or their goal will be updated, and they will all be looking for the actual player. So this stage we can play the scene. You should see that, yeah, there are 3 or 4 or 5 of them, okay, and they are all going towards the player. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to actually jump over the wall, boom, and look around. You should see that they are trying to get to me, but they can't, obviously, because they cannot jump or go through the wall. Okay, so this is working. I managed to create a few characters, a few non-player characters, and with some kind of basic pathfinding. Okay, and that's working relatively well. So again, make sure that you bake the different elements. It's very important, otherwise you won't be able to implement a proper pathfinding system.